True Underdog. Unleash the power within.
Build a movement, baby. True Underdog.
True Underdog. Unleash the power within. Jayson Waller here, my co-host John LeBlanc. We've got something special for you guys today. I've got two of my homies, two of my best friends in the world. One's my business partner. One's my right-hand director of operations and customer service. These guys have not only helped me build my business from the bottom up, but these guys have overcome adversity and have fantastic, awesome, funny, motivational stories to tell for you folks today. Super excited to introduce them. Joe Caban, Big Joe, Fat Joe, Lovable Joe. Introduce yourself, baby.
Joe Caban, I'm 37, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Had a pretty rough, upbringing. 5 siblings, 3 of them were shot growing up. Had some poverty issues and a bunch of other things that happened when I was a child. I'm now married to my beautiful wife, Ashley. I have 5 kids of my own. Been able to get out of that life and build a life for me and my family, successful life. Been working with Jayson since October of 2009 in multiple businesses. As well as Kevin. Love those guys, love working for those guys, and I'm excited to be here today.
Thank you, Joe. Bam! Mr. Klink, Kevin Klink, COO, co-founder, partner, AZ homie. Kevin, introduce yourself, baby.
Kevin Klink, for giving up ages, 40 years old. Grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. Obviously, got to know Jayson at a young age in 4th grade, but had a pretty good upbringing. Joe, want to first of all give a shout out to my mom. Today's her birthday. 70th
Oh, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. We love you, Mom, and wish we could be there, but I'm glad we got our celebration in pre-COVID as we saw this coming and saw the opportunity to have a big celebration. So happy birthday, Mom. But yeah, growing up for me was a good upbringing, good family, Christian family, good values. Got to see early in life that how the family was structured, but really for me early on, I saw that I wanted to be find a way to be successful in life and work hard and do find a way to be successful. So early on, I met my wife in high school, 1995. High school sweetheart, married her, had 2 kids. Here we are today. Got to know Jayson, like I say, early, 5th grade, and played sports every day on the street.
And hey, we've been a part of 3 companies together, Kevin. We've done some great things. So, we've seen the bottom of the business and we've seen the top of the business, baby. So we're gonna get into some of those stories. And of course, I've got co-host John LeBlanc on as well. John, how you doing? Let's let the listeners know, first of all, for our YouTube followers that watch us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you subscribe. Click that button, follow us so you get the update. But really, look, this COVID-19 stay at home, we're having to Mickey Mouse this operation together. No offense to Disney, right? But we're having to use our iPhones. And Kevin, you got to mute, baby. I love you, but you have to mute. I heard that splash from your drink, right?
So that's the second one, by the way. That's the second one. It's 10:45 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! So
still early, John. I'll get him in.
We've had to put this together with the iPhone, so my apologies for the quality. I've got some microphones coming. I'm going to hook John up with one. We're going to have the production crew set something up here in the office. It's been tough with the stay-at-home COVID-19 quarantine time, but wait, we want to get some content out to you guys and give you laughs, get you motivation, get you some fun stories, and then also you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and TrueUnderdog.com. So, John, I'm going to let you start. You know the relationship between the 3 of us, and I'm going to let you start and kind of go ahead and ask away of the questions that you have in our relationship, and B, some of our hard times. And we're going to have individual episodes with Joe and his story, which is very unfortunate, his upbringing. And then we're going to have a separate episode with Kevin and his story, and his wasn't as unfortunate, but he had some dark times that he overcame, and really mine and his partnership, the ups and downs of working with a best friend and him being your partner and being complete polar opposites, but yet utilizing that, embracing that to be successful. So, John, I'll let you start with the first questions. I'm ready to go, baby.
All right. You're always ready. So you guys have been known each other for...
Hey.
What?
C4, baby. They're not paying me, but go ahead. Give me a shout. Give me a
C4
call.
not-
Pay me to drink it. I got you. Go ahead.
Shout out C4. Look, I've got for the people that can't see my background, for the listeners, I've got a photo of Kevin, Jason, and Joe here. You guys have known each other for a long time. I dug this up deep in the Facebook photo.
Uh-oh.
So I'd like to talk about this. You guys are at a Lions game. You guys are looks like front row, right? Sitting front row. I want to know.
By the way, that's post money, right? There was a time that with Joe, Kevin wasn't in the picture at the time, where me and Joe drove to Jacksonville, and that was pre-money. That was when you stay at a thing called a motel, not a hotel, right? But there, in that picture that we're looking at, is in New Orleans, where Kevin and Joe surprised me that morning, pissed my wife off really bad, showed up at my door at 5 a.m, kicking the door in, said, "We're flying to New Orleans." We got on a plane, went to New Orleans. It was my birthday, and we had front row seats. And then, I ended up kind of getting in trouble walking onto the field I wasn't supposed to. I kind of just wheezed my way in. So it was a good time, and those guys were looking out. But go ahead. I'll go ahead. My bad.
So Kevin's smiling in this photo. Jason's kind of smiling. Joe, you got a serious look going on. You're a funny dude. No smile.
No.
What's going on in this photo?
Let's before he gets into detail on the story, I'll let Kevin because it was mostly Kevin's idea. I wasn't on it, but he kind of surprised me.
It was our idea, JoJo.
Yeah.
Come on now.
But
you were in on this.
Here's the thing about Jason. Just to give Jason some kudos, he's such a big heart. He's always doing things for others. So you're like, what can we do for his birthday that would surprise him? Number one, and be a good birthday gift. We usually go to like a dinner. We set up a dinner for everyone's birthday. We'll go eat dinner, and then that's pretty much it. So we had an idea. Let's try to do something special. So we had this idea, but then Kevin said, "No, I'm gonna do something else." So I'm like, all right. So I didn't even know, but then I get the call at 5 o'clock in the morning when he's beating on Jason's door, like, "Wake up, let's go." So I'll let you get into detail after that. Go ahead.
So look, here's the thing. First of all, we were in this together. I'm not going to take the fall for this one, but here's how this went. Is I was worried that Jason was going to find out. So I was a little paranoid about it. So I'm like, all right, Joe, this is what we're going to do. And then
you didn't tell my wife, and I was in the doghouse.
I didn't tell your wife, and I had to cancel it with Joe just in fear that it would get back to you guys. So I wanted to have a true surprise because, prior to this, we'd hit each other with pies and do all kinds of crazy stuff at the office. But this calendar, the calendar came out for games, and it's like, this is a Lions game in New Orleans on Waller's birthday. This would be a good one right here. We should take him down. Then it's like, we should actually surprise him. So that morning, when I'd already canceled a few days before, I said, Joe, we can't do this, man. It's just not a good idea. Let's just cancel all that. We'll just go out to dinner or whatever. So that Sunday, it was the 5th. I tell Joe, I text like, hey, it's back on, man. We're on. And I already booked everything, obviously, got it all set up. And that morning, it was set up to where it was a game where we couldn't take anything with us. We would have to get off the plane and go straight to the game. And we were going to hit up Walmart and buy, clothes and toothbrushes and things like that for the next day. So I go knocking on Jason's door, and it's like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours before the plane's getting ready to leave. So it's like 6 a.m., 6:30. And I'm beating on that door, ringing the doorbell. I'm like, Joe, he's not answering. I don't know what to do. I don't want to go like knock around windows and get shot in the face. So I'm just banging away. I'm calling all the cell phones, calling the kids. Nobody's answering. Finally, I get him out of bed, and he's thinking like, because they're half asleep. Both of them come to the door like, what's wrong? What's wrong? They're probably thinking like somebody died. It's like, why is he at my door? I'm like, hey, grab your shit. We're going to New Orleans right now, and happy birthday, by the way. Lions are playing, that. We're going down there. And he's like, he still didn't like, he wasn't fully neither one.
By the way, I'm never surprised. So I was like, what? I was half asleep, and I'm never surprised. So you got me good. Of course, then my wife's eyebrow kind of went up at the stink eye, like, what?
Look, and I apologize to Liz about that.
Yeah. She's okay.
Obviously, I needed to. I should have probably involved, but I knew, secrets are hard to keep in houses, in anyone's house. So
especially
I
my
wanted
house.
I wanted to get him. we wanted to get him. Joe, we wanted to get him. So I say, you know, we got to do this a certain way. So finally we get there. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say they got me good, and we got there, and we win the game. But go ahead. You were going to mention.
The first thing we did is we get there, and you know, again, this is like the old days, right? So getting out on the field was kind of a big deal, right? It's not like every game like it is today. So there's this open, like at the Met, what do they call that place? The Silver Mercedes, whatever, right? So there's like this walk out on the field, and Jay's like, let's just go out there. And Joe and I are like, no. He walks just straight out on the field, like all the way. He's like walking around, and we're just like, okay, I guess we'll connect with him later. He's on the field walking, finally gets kicked off.
Fake it till you make it, baby. Fake it till you make it. If you act like you belong, you belong. And that's what we did.
You didn't act well enough. You got kicked out.
So no, we didn't get kicked out of the game. We just got asked to remove off the field after we were there getting pictures.
You, not us. Joe and I did. We said, no, we're not walking out there, man. I want to see this game. I don't want to get thrown out. So yeah, you got out there. It was a lot of fun.
Lions ended up blowing them out. It wasn't even a win. They like blew them out.
Yeah.
So it was a good win for the Lions. And, you know, funny part is we get to the hotel after the game, right?
Oh my goodness!
We have balconies, so we're all like in different rooms. We're all like in the balcony, talking to each other across the balcony. But before me and Jayson went out there, Kevin's looking at the balcony. What happened, Kevin?
Man, we go out there, and somebody, I think it was Joe. You saw it first. You're like, go out to your balcony right now. So there was a fight, and it was like raining and cold, so it wasn't like the typical Bourbon Street where it's like, you know, packed people. There's only a few people, and some drunk idiot is over there like messing with some homeless dude. And that homeless dude, he's like sitting down, he's like talking trash to him. That homeless dude stands up and knocks him out cold. Like he is knocked out for like 5 minutes, and the homeless guy just gets up nonchalantly, walks away. It's like, man, welcome to New Orleans. Welcome to New Orleans.
And
just like that.
I know, and Kevin's yelling, "Get him some milk!
Milk!
Give him some milk!" And the cops show up, and like they're waking this guy up. It was nuts. But we've had a lot of Lions games we went to. We went to the one where the Lions started 4-0. It was where they had the Bears at 13 false starts and penalties. And we that was our first time. We have a picture of us on ESPN. Yep, Monday Night Football. We're on the ESPN website, and we have people sending us that picture like, dude, you made ESPN. This is crazy. We're all painted blue. I mean, we had a lot of good times going to Lions games and having a good time. So, you know, it's always been fun for us to be able to go do those things. We've gone to Arizona for a few games where Kevin got a little lit and, you know, was talking trash to some guys behind him, and he got beer muscles and started getting real. Yeah. And
right here.
He's cussing a little bit, and the guy's like, you better sit down before I punch you. And Kevin's just sort of, punch me right here. Like he said, right here. And the guy was about to knock him out. And Joe goes to me, what do you want to do or whatever? And I said, well, I think if one guy hits him, it's okay. But if two, we'll jump in because he's asking for it right now at this time. He's asking for it.
Well, look, when you got Billy, Joe, and Waller sitting there, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Like, all right, this is one dude.
Say anything you want.
All right, what's up, buddy?
By the way, we're wearing opposite jerseys. He's a Cardinals fan, right? I'm a Lions fan. We're all pulling for the Lions except Kevin. He's running his mouth. The Cardinals are winning. So I didn't give a shit if somebody beat his ass actually that day. You know what I mean? I'm like, he probably deserves it.
Kevin, you grew up with Jayson, and you know, Joe, you came in the picture later on. 2009, right? Somewhere in there.
2000, like
5.
09.
5.
Oh yeah.
2004. No, 2004. We became friends, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
2004. Yeah.
How'd you guys become friends?
We met on an online video game, believe it or not. A lot of people don't really know that story.
And by the way, it wasn't those online dating games like FarmersOnly.com. No offense to those guys, but
it was GamersOnly.com.
Yeah, but what it was is it was SOCOM Navy SEALs on the PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, it's back when console online gaming started booming. PlayStation 2. So we actually met randomly in like a lobby, and he had a clan called Drugs, and I was kind of playing with other clans. He's like, hey, come play with me. So his name was Prozac,
Isn't that kind of
Which-
ironic? Because he's like never done a drug in his life, right? I mean, and he
No,
calls
that
himself.
Jason. My name was Tylenol. Okay, that's
Okay,
why.
okay, that kind of drug.
I took the safe route. Okay,
Hey, I was Prozac. It was simple. It was
That
Prozac,
makes sense.
You know?
That
Right.
makes sense.
But
So,
we
you know,
started playing, right, Joe? And there, what happened?
we started playing. Jason was like, "Hey, man, you know, help me run the clan." You know, we started. There was a thing called game battles where we actually would have war. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'd like 9:00. We'll set up a war, and this is back when Kenzie was first born, right?
Yep. So
Kenzie
she
was
was
first
born December 31st, 03. That's my second daughter. She's 16 now. And this was like in January, February of 14. So she's like a month or two old.
And it was so serious, right? The thing was serious. Like nothing could interrupt this stuff. Like at 9:00, you were focused. Like he would tell his wife to get his mother-in-law to come help with the baby because he could not be disturbed.
Hey, hold on. Let me explain to the listeners how this went down, first of all. I had a daughter who had projectile vomiting, right? I was working a full-time job at Verizon, and I was driving limos on the weekend. So I was doing my hustle, right? Side hustle and working. And my wife would stay at home. When I would get home, I would help with Mackenzie. Here was the deal, right? I come home, hun, I got the baby, right? And then you want to go to bed at 7 or 8, I'll stay up till midnight or 1 because I play games. I put her in a swing. I give her a bottle. I change her diaper. We're good. And, you know, you get back up at 1, you take baby duty, and I go to bed, right? Then I get up and go to work, do it again. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:00, I got a war to do. I'm committed. So you got to
going
get
to
some help.
war.
Yeah,
Going
it
to war
was
at
so
9
bad.
o'clock
But
on
it was.
Tuesday.
I look back and I go, dude, that's bad. I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad. But that's how me and Joe bonded. It was pretty good.
So how long
yeah,
you guys online game before you guys actually met each other?
I was only doing a couple months.
Hardcore. I still play hardcore. Jay played for a while, and he still plays like Madden and stuff, but he kind of doesn't play shooters and stuff like we used to. But we played for a few years within that time period. And then one day he was like, we talked on the phone, we started texting, and we started talking on the phone every day, and realized we had a lot in common. And he was like, "Hey, why don't you just come visit us one day?" I'm like, "All right." I mean, I never even actually been on a plane before.
Hang on. So you guys are online. You guys are online gaming, and then was he just like, "Hey, can I have your number to talk to you?" Like, I mean, what?
Well, first of all, John, let me remind people I'm married, okay? And secondly, with Joe, it wasn't video chat like this, so I couldn't see how cute Joe was, okay? And basically, we hit it off because he would join our fantasy football team, and we talked sports. And he was like, "Dude, I've never been out of New York. I've never been on a plane." And I was like, "Dude, come down and visit me, the wife, the kids. It's come kick it, dude. See what it's like down here." And he did, and it was fun. And then I brought him down again, and we drove. That was the football game earlier I mentioned. We drove to Jacksonville from Charlotte, and we stayed in a motel where you can go into the motel with the door on the outside. And we were so broke we could only get 3 rooms for 6 of us. And then we bought the little. I mean, dude, it was like it was like
So who did you share a bed with? Who did you share a bed with?
There's only 2 rooms, by the way. It wasn't 3 rooms.
Two rooms.
Who
with
did
2 beds.
Jason share a bed
2
with?
rooms with 2 beds. So I had it with Jeremy.
Okay, that makes sense.
I had my own bed. Me and Billy had
What?
our own bed.
You and
We're the
Billy?
biggest ones. We had our own separate beds.
And
We were the biggest ones.
Brian and Kenny had to share a bed. Dude, they were the biggest ones. Who was gonna spoon with Billy or Joe? Dude, it wouldn't happen.
I'd have put them both together. That's how you fix
Yeah.
that problem.
Hey,
Hey,
by the way, since we're on that, I think you 2 spooned each other a couple times in beds in South Carolina.
One time.
Yeah. So I don't even
Once
know
was
why I'm
enough.
asking. I don't think you want the people to go. You want to ask questions. You don't want people to know, buddy. Because
That's a suppressed memory.
Hey,
I hate to bring that up.
The funny thing is, I woke up. He was gone. It was like a one-night stand.
I had to get out.
I didn't even know where he was. I called him. He was in the McDonald's parking lot working. I'm like on my laptop. I'm like, oh shit!
I had to warm up. You had that house at like 40 degrees. I was freezing.
I felt so insecure that morning. Like, I didn't know what was going
Like, was it me?
What was going on? Like, did I do something
Hey,
wrong?
can we back up for a second though? So Joe, you flew from New York to Jason's house in North Carolina, right?
Just to show you there was no money. I used to fly to Raleigh because it was cheaper. He used to drive all the way to Raleigh.
I used to do the same thing, JoJo. I used to do the same thing.
So I mean, you guys meet at the airport.
So here's lesson 1 for the listeners and the viewers. Look, You start somewhere. I had this conversation yesterday on live with Simone from Australia, right? You got to start somewhere to get somewhere. That life's not an elevator, okay? There is steps. You can't think that there's a warp zone like Mario Brothers or something to go from A to Z. You have to earn those steps. And then was a time where we were, you know what, step 3, right? We had a little money, we fly, you come see me, we go to game. And then you have to continually earn those steps to go higher in life. And not just financially, but successfully, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Everything's in layers of steps, climbing up the steps. And so when we look back at that, I remember all the moments in between then. We didn't have anything. You guys are flying into Raleigh. We're driving to get you. We're staying in motels. We're sharing motel rooms. You know, a couple of guys are spooning, whatever.
Yeah, and one of the best trips I would say that we've ever taken was Jacksonville trip we had mentioned earlier. That's probably the most fun we've ever had. You know, it's when I first met Kenny, your brother-in-law.
Kenny Boom Boom.
Kenny Boom Boom. So just a little brief discussion of how he got his name. I'm in the back with him. We're just cutting up, and Jason's in the passenger seat. I don't know who was driving. And he turns around and goes, he loves to tell this story to everybody.
By the way, I was driving.
Oh,
Brian.
So you were like,
yeah,
you were like, hey, Joe, you know what he used to do for a living? I'm like, no. And he was like, he used to be a stripper. I look at him, I go, you used to sling that stuff, man? You just sling it around town? So I'm like, first thing that popped in my head was, Kenny Boom Boom. So that name is stuck since that day, and everyone calls him that. Even our sales reps back when we were in the alarm industry used to think his last name was Boom. They used to call him Kenny Boom. Or
Mr. Boom.
Boom Boom. Or Mr. Boom, yeah. So that name is stuck, for so long. Like you said, we drove up to a motel. We were so poor, so broke back then, that when you park in front of your room, it's a problem. You're at a piece of shit motel. And we did a little
prop the door up, prop the chair up. I mean,
here's the worst part of the trip. And part the trip was funny with the dog track. We had quarter hot dogs, 50-cent cups of beers. I mean, it was great. But when we went to the game, Jason and his dad had different tickets than the rest of us. So they sat like, what was it, 20-yard line or something, Jay, at that time?
Yeah, we were sitting like the 20-yard line.
They put us in the end zone with all like the season ticket holders, the psycho Jacksonville fans dressed up as Jaguars and shit. And the worst part about the trip is that we had Jeremy. So if you know Jeremy,
he'll get you in a fight. You worried about me? He'll get you in a fight.
So the first thing Jeremy.
Well, hey, so the listeners and people watching don't know who Jeremy is.
Jeremy's Jason's brother. They're polar opposites, dude. They're not even close. Jeremy's like the hothead, talk shit. As soon as we sit down in the seat, he's just running his mouth. The game didn't even start yet. I'm telling this guy, shut the fuck up, dude. We haven't even watched the game yet. And these guys are like, whip your ass and put the baby up and burn it. They're like all in our faces. Literally, like, there's no 3 feet of separation. They're in our faces like, I'm going to kick your fucking, breathing down our necks. Like the guys behind us, like breathing, talking shit in our ears, like, fucking kill you.
Oh, by the way, how are Jacksonville fans even that passionate? They haven't even done anything.
That was a long time ago. They were good back then. They had a good run there at first.
Oh, they did. They had like Fred Taylor, the running back. They had some decent players on that team. But yeah, that whole game was like that. The whole entire game was just like me and Kenny were just looking around like, yo, we're gonna have to leave early, or we're gonna have to just get out of our seats to go to the bathroom and never come back. One of those things. But yeah, that was a fun part of that story. We ended up leaving early, and they ended up coming back. They ran back 2 kick returns. I'll never forget that. Remember that, Jay? Drummond run back 2 kick returns.
We left and heard Eddie Drummond ran back 2 touchdowns. So they still lost though. And then what about Kevin? We've got some good stories together too on your side. But one of them that stands out to me is when we sent you to Pakistan to open up a call center.
Oh, jeez.
My goodness. Kevin's like, hey man, we need to do this call center thing in Pakistan. We got to be able to do that.
Put the PG on it.
He said we got a friend out there that can do this, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to invest any money in Pakistan. He's like, dude, I promise. I said, you'll personally guarantee it? Yes. So we put him on a plane. Well, yeah, he was willing to go on a plane. I wasn't going to Pakistan. And no offense to anybody in Pakistan, but I wasn't going. This was a few years ago. Hell no, I wasn't going. This was like 2011?
Wow.
2012.
We were talking 11 reach into 12 by the time we
But Kevin's got an interesting story. So we were all nervous. We were using Skype at the time, and we were doing telemarketing early on with different vendors, John. So think about it, and listeners, think about it this way: you have a business, and you're hiring someone to prospect for your business. And the deal is we would pay them. We were in the alarm industry. We would pay them for a deal. And so if a call center, Joe's call center, Paul's call center would be like, hey man, can you pay me $400 an alarm deal? We'll prospect for you. We're like, yeah, right. Well, we would do that. And all of a sudden we're like, we didn't know there were like TCPA laws. And, we were, young entrepreneurs, and we have a business, and we're telling them, we didn't know some of the standards. They were like, oh snap. All of a sudden we're getting complaints and lawsuits from a vendor of ours calling and prospecting people that are on a thing called a do not call list, right? We're like, what? So we get our attorney, we start looking at it, we're like, well, if we open a call center in Pakistan, we can save on the labor, and we can then scrub the list or whatever. So it made sense. And so that's why we were going to try it. They had this avatar program where you can actually talk to someone that sounds like they're in California or Texas, but they're in Pakistan because they're controlling it with buttons. So Kevin was working with this guy to do that. And I'm like, look, we'll give it a shot, dude. We'll try it. We got to do something, right? So Kevin gets on a plane, and we're all nervous as shit. Go ahead, Kevin.
So look, right before this, what happened was we put a lot of planning into this for several months, obviously. And I remember it was like probably 2 or 3 months before there were a couple kidnappings in Pakistan. And they'd show it'd be like CNBC or, one of these CNN or Fox. They'd show a video of a hostage. And one of them stands out that it was this guy sitting there with masked people with guns pointed at him. But he was sitting on a couch, and in front of him was this big coffee table with fruit and cheese stacked up. So right when I see the video, I'm like, well, at least they treat him well. I mean, look at all that food. Geez, that's not that bad, obviously. They're not, it's not like they're not feeding this man. They're just wanting to, negotiate with him. So to me, it was that's scary. And I said, don't worry about it. That stuff never happens. And I'm going to have protection when I get over there. So we leave. I leave, I should say. It's just me. I leave in July of 2012, and I leave on a Sunday. Right? It's Sunday afternoon. I'm going to catch a flight. I got to fly to DC and then take an evening flight to get me out there. And I'm going to arrive there in basically 24 hours. So Sunday night, I'm leaving here. And it's storming. It's a summertime in Charlotte. It's, you got thunderstorms. You're fighting, and planes sometimes get delayed. Well, this one gets delayed leaving here. When I get to DC, I'm looking at the clock I got to run. I am running through this airport like crazy. I get to the gate because usually a gate closes 10, 20 minutes before. International flights, I come to find out, are 30 minutes before. So I get there. I'm like, all right, good. I'm in time. And the door's shut. I'm like, what the hell? I got time still. This flight doesn't leave for another 20 minutes. Why is this door already shut? I need to get on this plane. I can see it right there. Gigantic plane. Biggest plane I had ever been on. And they're like, no, it's 30 minutes before. I'm like, okay, well, when's the next flight out? Well, you're going to have to go see the counter or whatever. I go over there. So this is Sunday night. I'm in DC. So I have to stay there for another day because the next flight doesn't leave until 5 p.m. the following night. And now I'm going to a different city.
And you have no clothes.
I have no clothes because in my carry-on.
That was a big deal, by the way.
It turns out to be a big deal, yeah. So in my carry-on, I said, you know what? I'm bringing the headsets because we could save on the taxes and shipping. I had 150 headsets for telemarketing. You plug it in the computer, you talk on the phone, right? So when I'm packing, I said, well, look, I need to make sure I have these when I get there. So for some reason, my bag gets held up. Right when I get there, I want to have these guys on the phones. That's kind of how we planned it out. So I said, I'll bring my carry-on to be all the headsets when I get there. So I had the clothes on my back. I had my laptop. I had Air headphones for myself, obviously, to talk on Skype and things like that. So when I get delayed, I have nothing. And the first night, it's whatever, I'll be there the next day. I'll wear the same clothes, kind of gross, but who cares? So that was Monday night. Well, as I'm on the plane on Tuesday, going into Tuesday, all of a sudden they say, hey, we're going to be diverting to Frankfurt, Germany. that's weird. And the guy in front of me is a pilot, and he's like talking. He's like, oh yeah, I guess because they came on and said there's problems with the radar over Iraq. Like that, and he's like that's impossible. The guy's like talking, and Fred's like, they don't fly over Iraq, but okay, whatever. So we get there in Frankfurt again. I have nothing now. I'm on the second night. It's now turning into Wednesday.
Hey, and he what's the software we use? Skypes us, and I'm like, are you in Pakistan? We're all kind of worried. It's like, no, and he's telling us the story. I have no clothes, and I'm in Germany, and I'm like, what?
Never been to Germany. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Go to Germany. So I get out there, and it's like 50 degrees. I'm in shorts and flip-flops and a t-shirt, and it's freezing there. So I get off. I spend the night. Now, a bonus night is the way I was looking at it at that point. And finally, 24 hours later, I get to fly into Pakistan. And it's like 3 a.m. Thursday morning. I left on Sunday. It's 3 a.m. Thursday morning. And the guy out there that we had open the center ends up picking me up at the airport, and there are guns everywhere. Like, I'm like, what the hell have I just walked into?
So Kevin, so I gotta say this though, dude. Like, Kevin has never met this guy in person, right? And the deal was this was this guy's call center. We were paying to to use it and to help build it up, but this was his, right? So Kevin's like, what's gonna happen? What's this really look like? He gets off the plane. There's guns everywhere, and they escort him personally. That was the scary part.
Yes. So I'm on the bus, and I guess I had a VIP service, which meant instead of having to go through the long lines, they would.
You didn't know that though. That was
I didn't know that.
They came and grabbed you and said, "Mr. Klink, you're just walking with guys with guns."
I'm like I'm the only, and I'm not trying to be racist, but I'm the only white guy there. So I think they could tell already who Klink was. So I'm on this bus because you get out on the runway, you get on like a shuttle kind of bus. And everybody is getting off like, you sir, you stay on. And I'm okay. So it's me only on this, and I keep driving after all these other guys get off. I'm like, oh, here it comes. Like this is where the kidnapping's about to go down. So I get over there and I get off, and there's the guy that we know out there. He's meeting me and greeting me, and everybody's got big beards, and it was a crazy situation, but when I get there, he's like, okay, you want to go to the hotel? It's 3 a.m. I said, no. We're going to the call center. I want to see this right now. Let's go there. So there's nobody there, of course, except for some security guards with guns. So we get over there, and that's when I got internet now. Because this is like nowadays, of course, you can use a phone anywhere in the world. But then my phone was not going to work. So, of course, I got Jason, I got my wife, I got a lot of people concerned. I'm trying the best I can to tell them my every move, but it's not always easy back then in 2012.
And so the listeners understand. So think about this. So Kevin goes to help open up this call center. He's never been out there before. Takes 4.5 days to get there. He's got no clothes to change. He stinks. He smells, right? It's pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
The same clothes the entire trip. Gets off a plane and has guys with guns point him out, walk him down somewhere, and then finds out it's VIP. And the whole time you were there, you're treated like a king. Call center ended up working really well. We helped build that up, and they ended up doing their thing later on in life. But you were a big part of opening that up and building that from the ground up with those guys. And I think another tip there is like, look, sometimes you got to take a risk, and then there's payout in the end, and you can't judge a book by its cover. My ass wasn't going to Pakistan. Kevin did.
I say, yeah, that'll be fun. That's going to be a good adventure. It was one of those things in life that helped to get you to where you are now. You had to get through the adversity. At that time, it was some that kind of had you question, am I going to be alive for any of this? But it all worked out, and it's part of what made me who I am today. So it was a lot of fun, and I think take those risks. That would be what I would suggest to everybody. Take those risks, make yourself feel uncomfortable, because at that time, that's what it took to get through that.
And when it was time for Jason to go, he said me instead.
That's right.
Joe,
Hey, what happened to the funny gear you used to have on, Joe? You had like glasses and a hat and stuff.
There you go.
There's some goggles.
Hey, look, you look like John's brother. Now you don't.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So if you know Kevin, Kevin's the most vanilla appetite as far as what he eats. He eats the same shit. So you go to Pakistan, like, what are you gonna eat? He ate like Doritos and shit for like 2-3 weeks. He didn't try any of the food. At least I'd like to try things. I ate some of the food. And
Yeah, we
funny
heard how
story-
that experience went. Your wife shared with the story with everyone how that experience went. You
So I'm gonna get one story. So I did eat the food at the hotel. It was like this kind of like an American hotel, so to speak. There,
You were at the Marriott, right?
Whatever. For some reason they had me
No,
on the
no, you're
computer,
right.
like I
It was
worked-
that local one. That's right. That's when I
Yeah,
say that too.
like in the computer it said I worked for Apple, so I got treated really nice. For some reason, I don't know why. So I started eating the food, and one day I'm waiting for the guy to come get me. All of a sudden, I got a shit, right?
Oh my god!
So for the next 5 hours, every 15 minutes, I had the shit, and it was like
Oh
a
my
5 hour span.
How do you
couldn't
have that
hold it.
much poop in you, dude?
I ran out of poop, and it was just I don't know what else was coming out.
You're dry
It was
eating.
slime. It was slime.
Anything out of the butt.
Oh my
So-
god!
But
Oh.
funny story, like Kevin, they lost my luggage when I got there. So for 3 days, I didn't have clothes either. I wore the same outfit for 3 days.
You know what that reminds me of? Richmond, Virginia. Every time I fly to Richmond, Virginia, they either lose
That's
my
why
bag
I
or they
drive
can't give me
now.
a damn car. I'm
I
done.
don't trust
Me
that
and
airport.
Richmond don't get along. I'm telling you. You know, John, what other questions do you have kind of about our relationship? I mean, you know, we've the three of us have been through a lot. These guys have helped me build the business. Kevin being my business partner, Joe being my right hand man. You know, they've been a part of all three companies I've been through. All of us are completely different. Obviously, you know, what's unique about me and Kevin is he's a real great marketing genius. He's a relationship guy. He sees things that I don't, especially on a close level for the moment. Here's what's going on. We need to be careful about this. He's definitely more compassionate than I am. And then, you know, me, I'm more of the visionary. I see deep. I see what's going on strong. I'm more of an accountability type person. You know, this is what it is. This is what it isn't. I have relationships with people, but when it comes to business, you know, I'm about the brand first, meaning like the people and the brand all together, rather than getting tied to, oh, I can't hold this person accountable because I like them. And so those opposite personalities have really built a great dynamic for Kevin and I. And Joe's kind of in the middle. I mean, he's the comedian. Obviously, you see, he put his hat and glasses on, but you know, he always like breaks the ice, makes it funny. Very smart, analytical, can process data quick. You know, both of these guys. You know, bringing Joe down, he started in our call center side, and then he's just done so many different things in our business. We always say, you know, Joe, and you know this, John. Joe has the most information in our company about all the process, which is a valuable thing, right?
Joe,
So he understands it.
Kevin, obviously you and Jason have a very long business relationship. Somewhere, Joe, you came in and started working with Power Home, right? Was it the alarms or was it Power Home?
It was the security company. Yeah.
So it was a security company. So what was the learning curve working with Jason and Kevin? Like, walk us through maybe the first few months of
Well, hey,
Your
I
first
must say
role.
this. Hold on, I must say this. When Kevin came to work with me in North Carolina in 09, because we did some stuff in 05 together, and then Kevin went his way to do real estate, and I kind of did my own thing till 09. Kevin came and worked for me in 09 and helped me build the company up more. He moved to North Carolina, but he lived in my basement for 3 months and drove around building up teams. And then right after he got a house and moved out, Joe's ass moved in.
So Joe and Kevin, did you guys ever really meet right away? Or was it down the road?
I knew Joe from playing video games. I mean, a couple times he would say, "You pick the team that you want me to be, and I'll still kill you." So I'd always pick him the Browns, and I would be Michael Vick. And you can't beat Joe. I cannot beat Joe. I know Jason is better than I am at games. Joe is an impossible breed to me. He's the kind of guy that wins every time, 100% of the time.
So can we go to when you guys all came together?
October of 09, JoJo.
Yeah, I met Kevin. I came up a couple months before Kevin moved down, and Kevin was down there working with Jay. So I kind of met him then. And then when I went back home, he moved to North Carolina, literally 09. In October 09, I moved right behind him. So kind of when he left Jason's house, I kind of took his spot in the basement in Jason's house.
God bless my wife to have these two young
exactly.
downstairs.
Hang on though. Did you ever spend any time on that couch?
I did. No, actually, I didn't.
My bad. I apologize.
Not that couch. I was in the movie room. Remember that, Jay?
Okay.
I didn't sleep on the other couch. I heard there was some stories.
Probably a good idea.
You peed on that couch.
Yeah, like
At least three times.
Yeah.
Three times.
I'm not sleeping on that couch.
He had an Ambien problem, and he peed him the bed too many times, and it was the couch. Kevin, you still owe me a couch, by the way. We haven't talked about that.
I do. With interest. That's been a
John,
while.
to answer your question, so I moved down here to work. Me and Jason's been friends for a long time. He's kind of like, for a while, he's like, hey, come down. Come work for me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm building this business. So, I was in the beginning stages. I was visiting when he was, submitting contracts out of his bedroom when he had first started. So he was working out of his bedroom. And eventually he wanted me to come down. And I had a lot of stuff going back then and had a relationship. So I got out that relationship and I was like, you know what? It's time for a change. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and say, you know what? Let me see what's on the other side. I've been here in New York forever. It's getting old. Let me try something new. So I moved out there. And back then it was all like call center. The call center was like all analog. You're hooking up phone lines. And it wasn't even hooked up. So I'm like, Jay, man, help me out with this. He said, you can figure it out. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there like plugging in phone cords. I get Billy to help me, his dad. So we kind of figure it out. We end up figuring it out. But it just to show when working for Jason is kind of like they put your feet in the fire. Like, hey, figure this shit out. You're smart. Figure it out.
Hey, by the way, I have no college. I didn't finish a real high school, and I didn't know how to do what I'm doing. But you just got to figure it out. That's right, Joe. Jump feet in and figure it out.
And so, Joe, you're working this call center, right? And Kevin, you moved away for a little bit?
No, in 09, I had already moved here. So I had come here in August of 09 to
so you guys knew each other at this point?
Yeah,
we met each other. Yeah.
Right. We weren't obviously as close as we are now, but we met each other. We were cool, but now we're working
Joe
together.
was always the comedian. So Joe would be like, he would have the room going at all. And he still is, obviously. But yeah, this is my first impression of Joe. Like, this dude, like, is this like a comedian? Yeah, we would always say he's an ex-MMA fighter, but also, obviously, he would.
Ex-MMA fighter who let himself go.
Yes, he let himself go, man.
I let myself go after an injury. So that was the story. So we had all these.
That's how we would intimidate. That's how we would intimidate sales reps that didn't act right. We didn't want me to have to get loud and be inappropriate. I was like, look, Joe's an ex-MMA fighter, dude. You don't want to piss him off, man. You better follow the rules. It worked out okay.
And that was one of Joe's jobs, was making sure, right, Joe?
They sent me to South Carolina to babysit a house full of sales reps. I literally had to get them up to feed them breakfast. Like these guys are just so irresponsible. I had to get a budget. I go to Walmart and buy food, grocery shop for them, buy frozen pizzas and a bunch of other
It was
shit.
rough. It was bad.
Yeah. That's in the beginning. Obviously, you had to grind it out to get what you need to get, but we did what we had to do to make it work.
Well, so Joe, you've stayed with the alarms, and then you also transitioned. You've stayed with companies since the alarm business into the solar business, right?
Yeah, so I transitioned out to try to do something on my own. I worked for a little bit, then ended up not working out, and then I went to go work for someone who was considered a competitor, and then I guess Kevin found out.
Yes.
Kevin found out. Kevin found out and was like,
"You're trying to keep it secret."
No, he can. I'm saying I don't give a shit. I'm just saying that's a no-no in my game, baby.
It's a no-no.
You're allowed,
So,
hey, if you come and work with me and this is what we do, then you're with me. If you want to go do something else, that's fine. But you ain't allowed to go do what I do with somebody else. It doesn't work that way.
So I went to go work with someone else. And then all of a sudden I get a random phone call from Kevin about a month in. Hey man, let's talk. Let's grab something to eat. I already knew what the call was going to be about.
Taco Mac.
Taco Mac. And he's like, yeah, come back. And then I asked him what I was doing. And it was like, dude, just come back and work for us, dude. We'll get a position for you, that kind of stuff. So after that, it's kind of been just working through all parts of the business with them, every business they've had. So
I would say what we'll do now is lessons for the listeners and the viewers out there is here is 3 complete different personalities, right? That we were able to make this work and help build businesses together. Keep everything aligned, overcome adversity, overcome challenges, and continue to go up those steps to get where we want to go. And in some cases, you can actually have friends and or family work with you if you can find the strengths and the weaknesses where everyone can complement each other and row the same way, then it works. And so the advice out there for the listeners and for the viewers would be, like Kevin said, take a leap of faith. Like Joe said, you got to take a chance. You have to find a way to come together. And there is nothing stronger than friends or family that have your back and have loyalty that will continue to help build something together because they care as much as you care. And having these two guys makes me feel good. I know that they're loyal. They've got my back. They've got the brand's back. They take ownership in this with me. Kevin being my partner, obviously. Joe, we're trying to, with our company, we're trying to go to an IPO where all of the employees are empowered to take ownership because we want them to have ownership. We want them to have stock options. And, it's hard to find people you can trust and build around. And these are two guys that we've been able to do that together. And, that doesn't happen often. I've had some failed stories throughout the times as well. But I would say the advice out there for the listeners and the viewers is, look, if you feel like someone's loyal and they can help you build something together, make sure you empower them. They don't feel less than. They help you build that together, and they're a part of it so that you can be successful together, right? And utilize your strengths together. It's always better, and I say this all the time, and maybe we should get paid from DC and from Marvel, but I always say the Avengers is a lot stronger than one superhero. So surround yourself with other superheroes that can go and build the same thing.
It's a great
Right,
message.
John?
So, and look, you two, Kevin and Joe, I know we kind of how you guys got into the business and then the stories within the business, but you guys, during that so-called leap of faith, you guys uprooted, moved like, hours and hours away to go and do something that you weren't really unsure of doing. And that was a huge move for both of you. And I know there's some stories within that, as well as some stories with your upbringing. So we're going to also get into that at some point with a part two.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough time for that right
We
now.
don't now. So
There's a story for that too, for sure.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to end today's episode with this. We're going to have Joe on later on today. So that's going to be a separate episode because, hey, we're quarantined, COVID-19, stay at home, this nonsense. So we're going to have Joe on next for about 20 or 30 minutes. That'll be its own episode, so you can check that out. And then we're going to have Kevin on after that for about 20 or 30 minutes, and that'll be its own episode, and you can check that out. So that's what we've got here, and we appreciate everyone listening and tuning in. You can check us out at trueunderdog.com. You can check us out at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us at Instagram at Jayson Waller Bam, Facebook at Jayson Waller Bam, and at YouTube at True Underdog. All right? Thank you for tuning in. True Underdog, unleash the power within. Bam!
Bam.
Bam, bam, bam. True Underdog. Bam, bam. Unleash the power within.